Greetings all, welcome to the Arizona desert. I am in Tucson, where they've recently opened up the Tucson Military Vehicle Museum with a M103, as you can see out front. It's a new construction. It's actually sort of associated with the Pima Air and Space, which is quite literally right next to us over here. It's not a hugest collection, but I thought while I'm here I needed the air miles, so I'd come by and check it out. However, when you go to a new place, it's always nice to get feedback from a local. So I have found to give me a guide of what we have here, a local.
Hello, this is a tank. That's pretty much the extent of my knowledge on tanks. That's why I showed up, to get the personalized tour here.
So as I say, if you don't know, in the highly unlikely case that you don't know, this is Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons. So I get to talk about the big guns, he gets to talk about the little guns that are inside or next to the big guns. So we kind of do double tap things.
They have a grand total of one very unusual small arm in here, and it is a Japanese type Hamada pistol for, I have no idea how it ended up in this museum. But
well, sure, let's have a look-see. Let's see what we got. A 777 out front. And a T-72 on the left-hand side. So I say, Pima Air and Space is right next. The boneyard is over our shoulder. No firearms allowed in a vehicle building filled with firearms. And you enter through the gift store next to a mechanical mule, where there's a happy guy here to take your money, and you can see the costs. Thank you. So we'll start off with Ian's little favorite thing here, and then maybe we can let him go because I'm getting hungry.
very normal, very normal, very normal, completely unusual and bizarre, and I have no idea how a Hamada pistol ended up in this museum.
So other than the fact that it's Japanese in World War II, what makes it unusual?
It's just very rare. It's a simple blowback 32 auto, intended for officer private purchase kind of thing.
Was that the more common of the pistols the Japanese had, or?
No, that was like the least common pistol they ever made. There were a couple little, very, very limited production Japanese, essentially pocket pistols. Like why they don't have a normal Type 14 or Type 94 Nambu here, I have no idea.
Was it any good?
Sure. It's the FN 1910 we have at home.
So this collection is heavily supported by the Marine Corps Museum, and this is where they got the various stuff. So it is claimed that this is the M88A2 that actually tore down the statue of Saddam in Baghdad. Quite a MRAP / counter IED collection. And of course, one of the M1s. I wonder if this one is as tightly added. No, they put the turret lock on this one. You can spin the one around in Boston with one finger. That's how well balanced these things are. But you very obviously tell it's Marine Corps by the smoke grenade launchers.
Not by the crayon marks on the outside.
I'm sorry. Do you not have any Marines in your family history at all?
I do not.
No.
No.
All right. Kind of still within more or less Ian's wheelhouse are artillery pieces to a point. I mean, you say you fired a Pac 40.
Yes.
Did you hit what you were aiming at?
It was a mountain. I do not make any claim to know hardly anything about artillery, but it is cool.
Speaking of, so we got a little motorcycle here. You should see the car he came in. Might put an inset in. It's a T-track armored vehicle tug or aircraft tug. They did try to put a 3-incher onto that, didn't work out well. An interesting vehicle to have here is an FT, at least a tractor variant with smaller idlers. And surprisingly or not surprisingly, Ian has stated in a recent video that his favorite vehicle is.
Well, someone asked what tank I would get, and I said either one of the new modernish German Weasels or an FT-17. I will say, though, I had no idea that they actually used the FT-17 chassis essentially for a tractor like that. That's pretty cool.
So another fun one is we're looking at the hole up here, and you say, well, is there really supposed to be a hole here? Is there, how does all the brass get out? But I have seen modelers that will fill it up because they think there shouldn't be a hole there.
I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that there should not be holes in armored vehicles. Like, speaking as the total novice here.
Well, you would also think it's reasonable they shouldn't float, but that one floats.
Touche.
Not necessarily well. M3 half-track, correction, M3 Scout Car, M3 half-track, and then an M3 gun motor carriage. And there aren't very many of these. It says all known from the Marine Corps Museum. I do have, of course, the inside the hatch. A Canadian Centurion. A bizarre Marine Corps 4x4. Amtrak T-34-85. What's your tally on vehicles that you've driven now of tanks?
It's like 4, I think. Sherman, a T-55, a T-62, and I think that's about it. And 2 of the 3 of them were with you.
I thought you'd done a T-34 by now. No.
No, I've sat in one, but I've never driven one.
Yeah. They have the 85, and they have an Avenger, which I'm sure some people are going to be upset that it's in a museum, given that they were used not too long ago.
You mentioned to me that these guys, the AAVP, when you drive this thing off the back of a ship, it just sinks completely underwater, and you just really hope that it bobs back up to the surface.
Yeah, let's see if we can get some video and insert this one. So I mean, you have a larger audience than I do. I suspect you probably have some personnel that have very definitely experienced this.
Probably, yes.
Mechanical mule. I have an S-Met now in my unit, which is very similar. Pershing missiles.
How many of your audience know about this camo? It's probably like 80%.
About the Merdsea?
Yeah.
Actually, the other interesting one is the M103 out front. That's in what's called the Master color scheme. But for those of you who don't know what Merdsea is, this is a template that came up with in the 70s. Hang on.
It won't die.
They really want to talk to me. But the idea is that by changing a single color in the pattern, you can change the type of camouflage. So this is an autumn camouflage with a tan and a dark green. Now, bear in mind what this color is. We're going to come back to this a little bit later, and you'll see by simply changing the dark green how it goes to a desert color scheme. Canadian-built Otter. They do have a couple of quirky ones here, and a UAV with a parasail attachment. 1151, a successor to the 1114 I was in. Don't suppose you have any desire to own a Humvee at all, do you? Or a Cook V? Or
Less than none.
No.
We do have one of these every year at Midnight Brutality, or at Moon's Out, that we shoot out the back of. It's not armored, and it has the pickup bed.
How much of your money do you spend on firearms versus anything else? Scuba gear or...
It's like 90% firearms and firearms related.
Are you gonna end up setting up a museum of your own? Some sort of a firearms museum?
I doubt it. I don't know what I'll end up doing with my gun collection. We'll see.
High-speed tractor. Caterpillar does. It looks a lot like the counter IED vehicle that they also have here. T62. A nice one that you don't see much of is the M110A2 and the M59 right next to the 113.
It just occurred to me, like, they have the complete set of
these
PCs.
PCs.
Sort of very basic APCs, because they've got the 75 and the 114 outside as well. So you got the 113 and the 59 and the 75 and the 114.
Mm-hmm. All right next to the BMP. And you can imagine, look at the headroom difference.
It's a little bit. Yeah.
I don't fit so well on the BMP for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Another T72. It's in pretty good condition in all fairness. CCKW. And a British staff car. A Humber Saloon. A couple of Dodges. And an M60A1 Rise Passive with ERA blocks. Again, for some reason you may suspect this is a Marine Corps vehicle. And we're having a quick discussion. The M60 of course originally came out with the M73, and that was terrible, and the Shosha was terrible. Is the Shosha reputation overstated?
A little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Just because of the open magazine?
It's partly the reliability of the magazines, because they're all 100 years old and they were meant to be disposable. And then also partly because a lot of the ones that are in the United States are deactivated guns. And they were not reactivated by French armories, they were reactivated by random Bubba gunsmiths trying to figure out how to make this weird old French gun work that they probably didn't have more than one or two examples of ever. So there's a lot of sketchy rebuilding on Shoshas that contributes to their reputation today.
So we can maybe claim that the M73 is actually a worse machine gun than the Shosha. Granted, you haven't played with an M73, but...
That's one of those questions that is potentially accurate enough that I would really have to think about it. So, in other words, yes. Yes, it could be argued.
I'm getting a free version of Q&A with Ian here.
Well, it works, because I'm getting a private tour of the Tucson Armored Vehicle.
Yeah, we've actually spent about 3 hours here thus far, so you guys are getting the short version just to see what's here. I mean, when you're in Tucson, it's on I-10. I apparently drove past it in my last transcontinental, just to see what here. As I say, this is a fairly new collection.
This is a
Stuart Kangaroo
Stuart that went under a bridge that was too low, right?
Nice little selection of Jeeps, a Bren, Carrier. We both, Ian and I, have agreed that neither of us are going to purchase a Bren Carrier for personal use.
Very unlikely.
And I'm going to do a little twirly thing here because it's family. I probably don't want to go public in the world. Small little museum collection of uniforms. Not as big as the one that was in Danville, Virginia. That was a huge collection of uniforms. Pictures of tanks that we don't have in this collection. Panzerhaubitze. There's a Merkava down the corner. Small delay.
Head outside.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Mind if we sneak outside here?
She's got me crowded in the corner. Come on.
Of course, if they painted this green, they could claim it was military issue.
It's for the Marine Corps, right?
You're going to get so much flack for this.
My
Well, I mean, we're in central Arizona, southern Arizona. Are there many Marines around here?
There probably will be.
Well, painted up to look like a Japanese capture, early Stuart.
There can't have been very many of those.
Well, I mean, we took a whole battalion of them over.
No, I mean the Japanese captured.
Well, I mean, after the Bataan Peninsula surrendered, I mean, there was still a bunch of functional
That's true.
things.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
And the wonderfully loved M114 with the tracks and the bow in the wrong place. I mean, there's not very much here that you're not going to see many other places. The M88 is notable. The T62 kind of hard to come by, but by and large it's a fairly standard collection. The difference being that we're in the southwest US, and a lot of the collections that have a lot of this stuff are in the northeast or the eastern south. M56 Spat, Duster. So they're supposedly going to start doing some off-road driving courses. Why do you live in Arizona anyway? Just family heritage?
No, long story, but basically convenience. I bought property in Arizona when I got out of college, and then ended up staying here. There you go. There's the last of the ATC assortment.
A very battered looking M75.
That one almost looks like more of a box on tracks than the 113.
I say, if you wanted to make a box on tracks, you can't get a better box on tracks than a 113. That's all it does. It's brilliant at doing it. Not too many all singing, all dancing. So you're telling me you have a video coming out soon on the M7 rifle, which I guess that will come out before this video is released.
I think so, yes.
But I mean, is that a case of a solution in search of a question, or is it just trying to do too much?
Both. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a lot of bad compromises. We're significantly reducing ammunition capacity is the worst problem, in exchange for a bunch of benefits that aren't really all that beneficial.
What do you set in the SIG P320 thing now?
I don't know. I can't wait for it to be 10 years down in the future, and I can just look back and know what the whole deal was with the 320 and how it all worked out.
So obviously the big thing going on in the armored world and the general combat world is Ukraine, and we're hearing lots of things about drones and tanks and vehicles. Is there anything, any interesting information on the small arms world coming out of that?
So there's a tremendous amount of varied small arms showing up in Ukraine. Everybody's sending all their surplus, everything over there. And it really is, I mean, in some ways it's like a Spanish Civil War of the 21st century, but brand new stuff. You've got SCARs going into production in Ukraine, M14s over there, FNCs, FALs, HK91s, G36s, all sorts of different AR versions, AKs out the yin yang. And it doesn't really seem to be that big of a deal. I haven't really heard any complaints about any of them in particular. It's the use of small arms is generally limited to relatively short range stuff, like under 200 meters, which is actually what we see historically from pretty much all modern small arms conflicts.
Are we seeing much influence of special optics or IR sights or laser pointers or anything else? All the cool stuff that we get in the US Army? Does anybody care?
I'm sure there's good use of night fighting equipment. I don't see a lot of it directly, but I'm often, I do more historical stuff than I do modern combat, so I'm not spending all day digging through what's going on in Ukraine. But I know thermal imagers in particular are extremely useful, and I'm sure that night fighting capability has its absolute place. Beyond that, there's, during peacetime and in sort of civilian competition-oriented places, you'll get a lot of very granular debate over which is better, the red dot X1 or the red dot B3, and in practical reality, it's kind of like, as long as it meets the standard of mostly hold zero and the battery still works, that's good enough.
It's kind of like myself with the pistol debaters. I really don't care what the pistol is that I have, as long as it goes bang long enough for me to get back and find a new tank.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, okay, this has got this much joules of energy versus that much joules. I don't care how many joules of energy it is. I'm not going to stand up there and get shot by it.
Right. Yeah. Yep. As much as I love to nerd out on the minute details and differences of all this stuff, the practical implication is usually pretty nil.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, 10 years from now, we'll see what comes out. And I'm pretty similar. There's so much stuff that's coming out that's probably classified, and we're not allowed to know about it anyway.
Yeah.
I've always thought the deserts are quite pretty, but I don't know if I'd ever want to live here for a long term. I guess you're happy enough not dealing with snow.
I don't have to mow or shovel anything.
Till you go to Finland for winter brutality.
I don't shovel any of their snow.
Yeah. That's not your first winter match there, is it?
Second, we did one in 2021 that was all scheduled out and got totally wrecked by COVID. And we ended up doing it as basically a one-day exhibition sort of thing with a grand total of 8 people present.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't any warmer though.
I think it was actually colder than the most recent one.
Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, we kind of sort of run out of museum. It's about 60 to 70 vehicles in the collection right now. They seem in reasonable enough condition. So, as I say, the important thing is the geographic location. If you want to see these things, there aren't very many other places around here that you can. There's Southern California might have a couple of places where the Patton Museum is a small one. There's one in LA itself, Tankland. It has an official name, can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But I expect the collection is going to continue to grow, and we'll see where we get on there. But in the meantime, I'm now going to rely upon my local guide to try to find some food. What is the traditional Tucson food? I mean, it's a UN city of gastronomy. I tell my mother this, she doesn't believe me.
It is, actually, yes. Technically it is.
So we both live in the two U.S. cities of gastronomy. San Antonio is the other one.
We do Southwestern food, which is probably not that much different from what you do.
Tex-Mex.
You've traveled all the way here from Texas. Let's go get some good
Mexican food. All right, well, let's see what happens. Anyway, so that's where we are. The it's Tucson Military Vehicle Museum. And, well, take care and talk to you on the next one.
Adios.